Xbox, Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. If you'd like to find out more, head to xboxrecordthis.com. Oh, hello. DaddyDWALLY here, and welcome to Xbox Record This, episode number 24. I am amped up on this Monster Energy Zero Ultra. This is the ultimate pre-workout drink that I have, and this is amazing. It has 10 calories. To me, you guys, this tastes like orange juice, but a sweet orange juice. That's how I would describe it, because it has a bunch of
orange juice
stuff.
Sweet anyway.
Don't talk caca until you try it. I got this at Costco. It's all the white ones. There is a mixture one with this and the gold and watermelon. I couldn't stand the watermelon. For some reason, you'd think that'd be good. Not good. Anyway, enough about my energy drink. We'll talk about this in a second. Joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I am doing great, finally, buddy. Last week was our homecoming week at school, which means I had literally an event every night of the week, including last night, Saturday. Our dance was the final one. All of it went really pretty well, but man, I'm freaking tired. So excited to be here with you guys and talk some video games. It feels so good, and then get back to a little bit of normalcy this week.
Nice. And joining us, in addition, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, BubbleBoy. And Seven, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. Happy to be here as always.
All right.
I am just floored that you're here and that your eyes are open and that
Same.
you're not missing like at least a couple of digits. I guess we don't know. You might be missing a toe.
So tying in perfectly to why I just downed that energy drink, boys, because it is 8:30 as we're recording at Mountain Standard Time on Sunday, October 17th. And why would I be drinking that caffeine? By the way, it only has, I believe, 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is half the amount of what I used to drink. I was all about the Bang Energy. Bang Energy has 300. That's like three cups of coffee. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't be having that much caffeine. So
Probably not good for the old heart.
I did notice. I was like, man, I was like amped for a workout then. But then, now I'm like, maybe I need to tone it down. So as Chance said, it is incredible that I'm here because if you didn't know, a little backstory, guys, I have been blessed with 3 children. And it all started out with our son, who's about to turn 4. And then Allie and I wanted another child about 18 months later, or we planned it to be about 18 months later. We're like, why don't we try again? 2 for 2. And we were blessed again with twin girls. So I have the girls are 2 now. Grayson is about to turn 4. Allie my wife went on a wonderful girls trip for 4 days. She was gone, and it was just me with the kids. And it was an adventure, gentlemen, but I survived. Every night I sent you text saying day 1 of 4 down, day 2, and I survived. Like last night I was like, just get through this sleep. Today we got up, breakfast, gave them a bath, went to King Soopers, got a gift from my sister and got groceries, went to Rooney Ranch, gave them lunch there, came back, put them down for nap time. I worked out, went to my sister's for her birthday party, then went and picked up Allie from the airport at 6:30. And of course, there was insane traffic from the Broncos game that I didn't account for, but we made it home. We are recording Xbox Record This, and I'm happy to be here, gentlemen. That energy drink has helped a lot. Any reactions to my eventful weekend there?
Yeah, is this how you were able to swing that Xbox Halo Edition? That you said, hey, well, it seems like 4 days. Xbox is about the same thing.
Don't tell Ellie, you guys. I have been keeping track. I kept track. I get notifications on my Capital One card whenever she spends money. And so I've been tallying how much she spent on the trip. So I'm like, I'm getting
Ooh, that's a
something
dangerous game you're playing.
I know,
right there,
I know, but I don't
game.
care. Hey, you know what else is dangerous? Leaving your husband with your 3 kids for 4 days. So you know what? She can eat my caca.
It reminds me of that scene from Monsters Inc. where they capture Boo at first, and they're like literally like throwing Fruit Loops at her because they don't want to get near their kids. It's like, just keep them fed; they'll be all right.
Sorry, there.
I can't
Akbar
even
fell down
believe
again.
it. It's funny. I keep wanting to tell Ashley, like, oh, you should see
This
what Dan.
sucks.
And then I'm like, no, I'm not planting that seed in her brain. Like,
About what? 3 kids?
a girls' weekend.
Oh. Yeah. So whether or not Ali agrees with me keeping track of the spending, which I'll let you guys know how that goes. I will be. You're right, Jose. So heartbreaking story. Speaking of the limited edition Halo Xbox, when it first released that day, I got it to my cart somehow. Was about to check out, but I was like, Allie, I need those gift cards. I need those gift cards. Of course, I forgot them. She sent them pictures to me. Well, I had a meeting. I had a family liaison meeting that morning as I was doing this, and and then she sent it to me. I put in the codes. We're sorry. This has been sold out and removed from your. You cannot buy it. I was heartbroken.
Pure
Then
heartbreak.
the second day it was released with the whole bundle, I'm like, screw it. I'll get it with the stupid headset. I'll get it with the controller. I was planning it. I was late to that, couldn't get it, and then I read that if you had been randomly there earlier and if you kept it in your cart beforehand when you the first time, I still had it in my cart. I could have gotten it just the Xbox alone. So unfortunately, the Halo Xbox, which is really what I want because I don't even really need a second Elite controller. Let's be real, was taken from me. And we're going to talk controllers. Actually, let's just get into it. So, Chance, like I said, this was the $30 PowerA controller.
Yeah.
This is going to be a quick review. So this was $30.
I put
Go ahead, Chance.
I put the blue one in my Amazon cart. As soon as I fall into some gift cards or something, that'll be a purchase for sure.
So here's the pros. As far as I could tell, it works perfectly fine. I had no issues with it. I really like the back buttons. They're not paddles, but they're perfectly placed. And I actually went to my sister's for her birthday, like I said earlier, and they have one for the GameCube, the Switch. I am going to be getting that because I traded in my Pro controller. I will get that one for the Switch because I can't play games without paddles anymore. Like I just can't do it. And I would be able to assign it to where it makes sense in my mind, I think, to what A should be and B should be. But so for $30, I absolutely recommend it. The only con I could think of is that it does feel cheap. Like it's not like the same quality as a standard Xbox controller, but it gets the job done. And having the paddles on the back, incredible. Oh, and you have to keep this one wired. But I guess there is one like this that's $160 that's very highly rated. And I just watched a video on it on YouTube from this kid, and I'm actually really impressed. And I'm actually considering getting that or the Scuff controller that's like $200 because I almost, if I'm going to spend money on another Elite, I want to experiment with the paddles and possibly trying to get where I don't push any of the face buttons. You know what I mean? Like with the Elite, I can't handle the two paddles back there. Like it's just too much for my brain to comprehend, right? But with the Scuff one, they have it to where you like push or maybe you pull and push with the same one. And I'm thinking if I can handle just doing it with one finger, but it has basically two button functions, that I might be able to handle it. So look into it. I also, the PowerA, very highly rated. Like I said, the Pro version of this, and I think it's 160. So chance for a second controller for traveling and not to have to worry about your Elite and to have the wire, of course, I definitely recommend it. I'm only returning this because I still have my old Elite that works with the wire. I basically just wanted to test this while my Elite was getting fixed. Did you have any reactions to that, boys, or should we move on?
I have just two questions. Are you talking about using this all the time with all games or just on the cloud gaming?
I was using this for the past week while my Elite was
for all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long is the cord? That was the other question I had.
Oh, very, very long. Like longer than I think my Elite one is.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
like my TV's right here all the way back to that couch, no issue, and had more slack. So, I mean, that's probably at least 8 or 9 feet, probably 9 feet, 9, 10 at least. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was shout out to PowerA. Highly recommend it. Gentlemen, let's jump into what have you been playing. Let's go to Chipotle Bear first. What have you been playing, my friend?
So last time we got to chat with you guys, we had just got into the Battlefield beta. We had some early reactions to that. Afterwards, I did play quite a few more games that weekend until obviously the beta was over. I really liked it. Definitely had complaints. A lot of them were the same ones. I think some of the glitches honestly got worse over the course of the weekend because I think more people were playing. So trying to be hopeful, it's stuff that they'll address. If not, definitely a little worried. I got to progress a little bit further in terms of some of the like guns and stuff, and I see a lot of potential. I'm really excited to potentially play this with all the buddies. By itself is a little hard for sure, at least on the mode that we had. So just that, and then also I got to dig in quite a bit more into Marvel's Avengers, and I'll be honest, I'm enjoying it. I'm not loving it. Like, I'm not like blown away. But I think the story's decent. I like that it's forcing me to use the different Avengers at this point. I'm just barely like starting the story with Iron Man, so I'm still pretty early in the game. You know, my only tiny gripe with it, and it was really bizarre, when I played as the Hulk, he's kind of the second character you encounter. I was getting like almost like dizzy from the screen. I don't know what it was about. Maybe it was like zoomed in so much and with like all the like stuff that it was like weirdly like messing with my brain. And now that I'm back to Iron Man, it's fine. So I don't know what that was. Maybe that was just a weird fluke with me. Who knows? Maybe it was because I was tired this week from all the Homecoming stuff. But other than that, just those two games. And I'm excited I want to finish Avengers, and then actually I'm going to jump into Back for Blood. That's what I'm really excited to play next.
I was going to say, Back for Blood has been getting pretty good reviews. I totally think we should play that together if we can.
I would love to.
I'm totally interested now. Like, I wasn't before, but I'm like, maybe that's what I need right now, because we'll talk about what I'm playing after BubbleBoy goes. BubbleBoy, you've been playing a lot. I thought, do you have a review for us?
No, well, so I want to ask you about that. I don't. I was really, really, really enjoying Scarlet Nexus. Like you'll remember if you listened to the last show. I finished the first run of it with the male character. The end was so horrifically long. So long. It's one of those games. I'm trying to think. I know there's other games like this, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe you guys can help me out. But you replay like every single level in like a weird version, like an alternate version of it at the end, and it just drags on and on and on, and you do it twice. And I couldn't do it. I seriously, on the last, because I think there's 12 or 13 chapters, and the last two are both those like you're redoing them in the Red Strings universe, and I'm telling you, it took as long to beat those two as it did the other 10 or 11. And just not fun. Like I had all the cool powers and stuff at that point, and all the party members and everything, but it was such a chore. And I got to the end and I was like, I think I'm done. I don't, unless there's something like I need to read about if the girls, if her run skips those two, which I don't think it's possible, knowing where they intersect and stuff, that I kind of like, you know what? I got enough out of this story. I enjoyed the game. So I don't know. You guys will have to tell me.
So let's get your review for what you played definitely next week, like an overall review. And it's funny you say how you have to replay stuff. Don't you have to like replay multiple times in Nier Automata?
In a different way, but
okay.
But yes, and it's the same developer, and this isn't even replay multiple.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Look it up real quick while I'm.
But by the way, didn't finish that game. Probably played for like 5 hours, and I was like, I have no desire to go back.
I didn't not like it, but I didn't understand the hype either. I think the coolest part of that game was the top-down shooter parts.
Yeah, the introductory level. I was like, this is awesome, and then it doesn't do that for.
No, you do it again.
Maybe eventually,
you
but I was like,
times.
but I was like, I can't do this world, this big open boring world again. Like I can't. Why the sand world? Wow, I just anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get your review.
It'll have to be next week because I do want to be done because I got Far Cry 6. I've been enjoying Far Cry 6. Resident Evil 8 I picked up for, I think, was it $15 or $25? I can't remember either way. So cheap for that game. Like we talked when it comes to money and time, that game knocks it out of the park on both, according to Chapeau, and he's pretty much always right. So, and then the last thing I'm really, really, really excited to play is Visage. Or Visage. I don't know how you pronounce it.
I think it's Visage.
Visage.
You French bastard. Anyway.
Visage.
Oh, wait, no. We'll skip that for a second. I want to hear your impressions of Far Cry because I see you've been putting work. Yeah.
I have.
Because there are a lot of, mixed reactions to the game saying, you've already played this. I wanted to see that. There was a really good article that I should have sent to you guys, but I didn't read all of it yet. But it's saying how, like, I've done this. I can't do this anymore. What do you think? I think you like it, huh?
It feels like Far Cry is the first thing I'll say for sure. It reminds me a lot, and you're going to be like, oh, Skip. It reminds me a ton of Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Which, and I did not like that game. I thought Breakpoint was a decent game. The island that you're on is modeled after Cuba, and there's so many overlaps to whatever fake island it was that you played on Breakpoint. Some of the big differences are that there's not a progression system, like a skill tree and stuff. And so the way you change your character little bits by bits is by getting different weapons and different armors, hats, gloves, shoes, stuff like that. And I kind of don't like that system. At first I was excited to not do a skill tree, and I like the non-skill tree, but you're like, okay, I got to rechange all my clothes to go do this fight, and then I'm going to rechange all my clothes to do that fight. And the ammo differences, it's just not fun, and it's not intuitive. Like, I thought of Battlefield, where you could just on the fly be like, pop, change out your ammo types and stuff, and you can't do that. And to actually change the ammo, you have to go to a workbench. You can't even pause and then change it. I know there's a couple of things you can pause and change, but you can't change your ammo types. And then ultimately I just ended up sticking with the one that I felt like was the best all around. But yeah, so there's those kinds of things that aren't great. But when I do say it's typical Far Cry, it is fun. Go ahead, DWALLY.
But that's not fun. The other parts, like the gameplay, is actually fun when you get to do it. But getting to that point, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there's the Rebel bases or the FND bases that you do that are just like any of the other Far Cry games. They're good. I do really like Yara, the Cuban feel, and like it's stuck in 1967, and that's kind of cool. The music is great. It looks wonderful, and Giancarlo Esposito is wonderful, but that's
love
not
him.
news to anybody. Like, I'm not going to be breaking any ground being like, there's some really good acting from the villain in this one. But the story is really, really well done too. I do like the story. I feel engaged. There's quite a few side characters, and some are significantly better done than others. But they all make sense for what's going on. Like, even the ones that I didn't care much about, I'm like, well, I get it. I just don't really care for that person. Good representation, which is cool. There's well, I won't give it away. Never mind. Okay. But a lot of good side characters.
So there's some positives, but maybe wait for sales, ACG says probably.
Oh, for sure. I think. Well, no, because I bought hard copy, so I'll just send it on to whoever wants it next out of the two of you.
Again, the time commitment. I'll move on to what I've been playing, gentlemen, and I've been playing Alan Wake Remastered, and I gotta say right up front, I'm sure Jose's interested to hear, this has not been as fun as I thought it was going to be. I don't think the game has aged as well as I remember it in my mind. It has been, I think the biggest thing is having to play it again. I did do the Nightmare Ran Again chance. I don't know why. I did the first DLC, and I'm like, I'm so close, and I'm like, oh, do I even really want to go and finish the second DLC at this point? Because I'm like, it's been a grind. So here's the thing. It looks great. The gameplay parts, cutscenes are still choppy because it's like the original cutscenes, which were not good. The cutscenes just, and I think that's been mentioned before, but it's so much slower than I remember it being, Jose. Like, you go there's quite a bit of downtime where I'm like, oh my gosh, are you really making me talk to this person? Oh, I'm going to slowly walk over here and follow this person. And when you get to the action, it's fun, but it's small little chunks, right, Jose? Like, you'll only fight like 3 enemies maybe, and then a little bit, and then another 3 enemies. Like, I wish the gameplay, the actual combat was more often and more numbers. I think that's what makes Control better, is I think they learned from that, and even from Quantum Break, that the combat was fun in Control. This combat is fun, but you don't do it enough. And as far as Nightmare was concerned, Jose, I wish they should have let you do the game from beginning from Nightmare, because it's not that much harder. Like, the difficulty isn't as hard. Like, I actually died a couple of times on easy in the DLC more than I did on Nightmare mode, because I got so good at dodging, not even dodging, just knowing when to run and just run past enemies and sprint past them and conserve my stuff. And I knew where all the weapon caches were. So it's been, I do think everyone should play it, but I can see I was watching videos online of the collectibles, and I saw some people being like, I can't believe this game. People love this game, just dogging it. Like, this game sucks. This is like one of the worst survival horror games I've ever played. And like, and they're like, I don't understand the praise. I can kind of see it. Jose, let me, again, did you enjoy it more because we hyped it up so much and like how we talked about the story, or do you feel like you could kind of see why people might not enjoy it today? Because it's literally the same game, only it looks better.
So I would say, I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, obviously, pleasing people in general, all people, is basically an impossible problem. But, you know, when you guys hyped it up before I got to play the full version, I knew when one was in a genre that I already liked. I had seen Chance play snippets of it. So, like, it wasn't a surprise, the whole thing where, like, you have to, like, use light first and then a weapon. Like, that was not revolutionary, but I thought it was a really cool system. What I would say was it was very manageable. Like, there was no point in the game where I felt panicked that I was going to die, with the one exception, one time, of when you first get the flares. Do you know what I'm talking about? And there's like you have to keep the light like that for a while. I died a couple times there just because I mismanaged my inventory. But outside of that, even every time when you'd hear that kind of like the whatever the stinger music was to say there were enemies by, I never had that like panic moment where, like, I feel like in other games, like Resident Evil 8 is a great example. There are some cues like that where it happens and legitimately my heart rate would like, oh, here we go, you know, like that kind of thing. So if people were looking for that and they don't get that, I could see why they're frustrated. I would also say I looked at it from the perspective that it's a great story, right? Like, you're in it for the story. It's a little bit of a long haul. You're going to have to take that time to develop. You're not just taking things as given, like you sometimes have to do in other horror games. So that might be what's frustrating to people. And I think you're honestly totally right that people always see the past with rose-colored glasses, right? So you think like, it was such a good game, I can't wait to play it. And then you're like, man, it's good. It was probably amazing at the time. We just have so much now that's different and even better that it's hard to go back, I think.
I agree. And the story is still great. And I still love Barry. Barry is one of the best parts.
Underrated.
Of
Such
the
a great
game.
character. Love Barry.
So love it. I still love the rock out scene, you know, the concert scene. Still, Xbox recorded that. You know, that was still awesome to see. You're right. There are so many cool moments, but there are just so many where I'm like, why am I walking? Why is this guy telling me nonsense? But I definitely agree that the story is worth it. And as far as tension goes, I definitely felt it in the first DLC. There was a few parts, well, because there's an achievement where it's like, you can't die. You have to get through this without dying. And you have to beat this final boss section in under a minute. So like, that's where I felt some tension finally. Like, I had to really be, manage my inventory really well. And that's one where I did die at the beginning on easy and I had to redo it again. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Basically, there was like 6 guys who surrounded you at the beginning, which is very rare. But do I recommend it still? Yes. But Jose said it perfectly. Like, you really have to invest in the story. And I do feel like, I hope people who do finish it do play the DLCs. When I see the achievements, there aren't many people playing the Signal and the Rider like the DLCs. And that's really important. It continues the story and it does a really cool job explaining more, because the ending kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger in the original game. And Jose didn't get to play the DLCs. But what was cool was Sam Lake's commentary, but there isn't much of it. I'd maybe say he maybe talked for, I want to say 5 minutes at most the entire time I played. Like, yeah, it's very minimal, but he does say some cool stuff tying into Control, which made it worth it to me. So guys out there, if you're listening, if you've played Control, play Alan Wake, play with the commentary. Well, you should play it without the commentary on, because he spoils some stuff. But after you beat it, if you go back for the Nightmare run, which is totally doable, it is worth it. So yeah, Jose, I don't know. I guess, I like you said, I guess I was just expecting it to just blow me away again, but you're right. But what is interesting, Jose, when I think was cool, is I looked back at my achievements for it, almost to the date. I completed all of my achievements, I think, on 10/19/2011.
Dude, that's dope, dude.
And now
10
I'm
years.
close to almost exactly 10 years later. I am going to, okay, that just freaked me out. It's been 10 years. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I just had a existential crisis right there. Any closing thoughts on what you've been playing, Jose, or anything you want to add, or any more?
No,
Alan
just
Wake
I mean, you know what?
thoughts?
It's as much as I know it's cool to have those beta weekends. It feels like we're getting back to a little bit of just like let's get into some cool stuff. And honestly, as much as I expected a little bit of October and November to be a lull in gaming because we're waiting for Halo, honestly, I don't feel like that
And
at
Forza.
all. And Forza, and I think that just I know we've said it 100 times, and we haven't mentioned it in a couple weeks. Man, Game Pass is such a game deal, dude. Like just. The fact that, like, let's just say I didn't like Avengers, which I do. I am really liking it. But if I didn't, I would just delete it and get something else. Like that, I cannot speak highly enough of it for people that don't have it.
And that sounds like I hear the campaign's really good on that game. So I'm glad
I'm really liking it, dude. I think it's really cool the way they're doing it. And introducing different characters. I've already played a couple different villains and seen a couple different heroes. Like I'm actually really excited to fill out the roster. I might even get into some of the like significant DLC stuff. It's fun, man. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I hear Wakanda's good, so that's on there too, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely play Wakanda. That's the one for sure I'll play.
Okay, you're excited. Let's move in to Xbox news, Jose. Let's jump right into it. There's a lot of cool stuff here. And this is a good one that I'll start with since BubbleBoy left, you guys. I think he had an emergency caca situation over there. He had to run to the bathroom.
It's his tradition now.
That acidic diarrhea. So, Jose, this happened on October 14th. And speaking of Battlefield, and I do want to talk about this briefly, Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone official trailer. And this is the little description on the YouTube trailer that I sent. I don't know if you got to see this, Jose, but discover Battlefield Hazard Zone, a tense, squad-focused survival experience combining edge-of-your-seat gameplay with the best of the Battlefield sandbox. Inserted as a 4-member squad, you must locate and retrieve critical data drives scattered throughout the battlefield, while competing against opposing squads with the same objective and local militias. Succeed by gathering data drives and choosing when to extract before a storm overtakes the area in this high-stakes, one-life experience. Oh, I didn't know it was one life. Every bullet, every skirmish, and every decision counts. Battlefield 2042 is a first-person shooter that marks the return of the iconic all-out warfare of the franchise. And the rest of it's just generic Battlefield trailer nonsense. Jose, you were talking about the beta earlier, and I wanted to talk about it too. You said that playing Conquest was tough as solo. I completely agree, and I was thinking about it, and maybe why I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I'm thinking something like this has my name written all over it because I do love the Warzone experience. This isn't Warzone, but it's a similar. We play as a squad against everybody else. I like the idea of extracting. That kind of reminds me of the Division and when you had to extract in the Dark Zone, even though this is completely different, but I feel like this might be better. I personally am more excited about this game mode than Conquest, and I would rather play, I think, this than Conquest. And obviously Rush is number one to me, but what are your reactions to this Hazard Zone announcement? Basically, is this their Battle Royale? And I kind of like it because it's something different. Like we already have Warzone, we already have PUBG, we already have Fortnite, like we already have Apex, we have Battle Royales. Maybe this is a nice different solution to add to the mix.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't know the thing about the one life either. I actually don't know if I like that as the resident not great FPS person of the group.
Yeah, and I was going to say I kind of don't like that either unless you can buy back. We don't know. Maybe you can buy back. Go ahead.
What I would say is I'm always down for new game modes, especially from big franchises, right? So like if Call of Duty introduces something new, I would check it out because I might like it. Even on Call of Duty back when I used to buy the full game and have the multiplayer, like I could play multiplayer matches by myself forever. Even if it was just to like level up my guns, to get different gear and stuff, I'm totally down for that. But then of course loved playing with friends. And so I like the idea of the new mode. I'm sure they can do a great job with it. The one thing I just keep wanting to know about in Battlefield, and it wasn't in the beta, is that they keep showing like having like a squirrel flight suit. You know what I'm talking about? Where like your arms are like this and you have the thing. That was not in the beta. And so I don't know if that's because all you could do is parachute. You're either parachuting or falling. And so I want to know if that's another like loadout or if that's just the idea is that everybody has that, and when you're falling, you're really using a squirrel suit, even though you never see that. I don't know. So I want to know how that plays in because, again, that was even in this trailer as well. The guy comes off a tower and gets some guys.
Has a sweet melee, assassination, which isn't in the game. Like, I was so mad when I snuck around and assassinated somebody. It was just like him poking his knife at the guy or punching him. I'm like, where is my Battlefield signature take the dog tags cool assassination animation? I was pissed about that. But anyway, sorry, Jose, go ahead.
So I mean, I'm down. You're right. When I think about the conquest stuff, it's fun to a degree, and like it helps you hone some skills. And I like playing matches here and there, but it is infinitely more fun with a squad where you're all on comms and you're like truly trying things out, and you know Dan's in the background making sound effects, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like that's what
the
makes
stakes
those games
are
great.
way higher with that one life. BubbleBoy, welcome back from the caca room. Do you have anything to say about this hazard zone?
I was with a baby.
Oh, I mean, caca either way.
Like he said, caca room.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. I went from almost ready to buy the $100, pre-order the $100, to definitely only going to pre-order the 60, to I bought the all DLC Forza instead. With this announcement, I'm back on the I'll probably get the 60, just because it does sound like something new, different, cool. They had to do something. I wish it would have been part of the first beta.
Yeah.
Like, who needs to see if Conquest works? I guess that was all just to see if they could put the 164 people on a server, which they couldn't.
128.
So,
I didn't know there were bots in there too. Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there were bots in there. I had no idea. So every time I probably got a kill, I'm like, oh, I'm good. No, that was probably a bot.
The beta? Oh my god!
Way to burst my bubble
upsetting.
there. My KDR just plummeted.
Yeah,
I remember the first thing I said that I did.
Yeah, you were like, I'm killing it.
I got 3 kills in a war.
Chance is just killing bots. I'm
playing
still
on easy mode over here.
I'm still, skeptic on this. I want to be excited, but I don't know, guys. I hope we don't get diced. I'll wait till it launches. I'm praying, you know what? Let's just delay it, guys. People will love it after Halo. Halo's going to be taking up my time, but we'll see. If it launches well, I haven't pre-ordered it like you, Chance. I don't think I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till the reviews come in. I also, like Chance did, bought the Forza Horizon expansion pack. Can't wait for that. Let's move in to some serious BubbleBoy excitement right here, guys. We're going to dive into the DC announcements that we were lucky enough to just so many movie stuff. We could talk about this whole thing all day, but let's just stick to video games. BubbleBoy, let me read the quick description here of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League official teaser trailer. Happened on August 27th. No, that's not right. This is a different one. But anyway, the creators of Batman Arkham series are back with a brand new action adventure. The most dangerous villains in the DC universe have been forced up to team up and take on a new mission. Kill the Justice League. Create chaos in Metropolis. You are the Suicide Squad. BubbleBoy, what did you think of the Suicide Squad trailer? I kind of was getting like Guardians of the Galaxy feel again.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't be like that, but go ahead. What did you think?
Super excited that... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I feel like I know you're more excited for Gotham Knights, right? Because I am.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And that was my first. I was like, yes, it's that same. It's like in that Arkham Knights. But wait, crap, they haven't released Gotham Knights yet. So what are they doing? Okay, great, awesome. I'm excited for it. Those games have always been so well done. They always have so many different little caveats to them that aren't ever like released beforehand, and that you wouldn't like really realize until you play it. Like the fact that it's that Metroidvania, Daniel. I'll drop that officially. Style where like there's things right at the very beginning that you can't get to until you have all the stuff until the end. It looked absolutely gorgeous, fantastic, right? It will be another one of those kind of, is it hard to, like Jose's playing the Avengers right now, switch between the characters that are in that game versus the ones in the DC, what do they call it, live?
Who knows? But quick question: did any of you guys watch the most recent Suicide Squad movie?
And I liked it.
And isn't that the black woman
really
who's
good
in the trailer in the movie too? Right? Because she was in the first Suicide Squad, if I remember correctly. Right?
Who?
The like leader who tells you know who I'm talking about?
The agent, the FBI agent that like brings them together.
And she's also in Star Wars. in Jedi
Oh,
Fallen
but
Order.
I know the.
Is she in the most recent movie?
Yeah,
Okay. So like that's
but the
what's
shark
confusing
looks
to me.
totally different.
That's what's confusing me. Why is she
King
in this
Shark.
game? But then
King
the other
Shark.
characters. Anyway, go ahead. Jen, sorry.
And Harley Quinn isn't played by Margot Robbie. Either way, I'm excited. It looked gorgeous. I did like the last movie. If the last movie had sucked, I probably would have been a little like meh. But they're so different. It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah, I like the tone of this trailer, and I liked. It's cool that I guess I'm assuming that the Justice Leagues have something controlling them, and they're messed up, and that's why they're creating or they're bad guys now. Jose, what was your reaction to the Suicide Squad trailer?
So I like you guys. I really liked the most recent movie. I didn't hate the original one. I mean, it had an all-star like acting cast. I just think it was a weirdly kind of written story and villain. What I will say,
quick question, Jose. I only saw the first one. The second one, what happened to Will Smith? Why did he leave?
so this is not a sequel to that first one.
Is it just like a completely?
It's
like
a complete
reboot?
reimagining. It's a reimagining.
But
of
for
what
some
that
reason,
story is.
they're like, let's keep Harley Quinn. Let's keep the good
Yeah,
parts.
because everybody loves Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. The one thing I will say, so the character you guys are talking about, her name is Agent Waller, Amanda Waller, the one who like basically forces, for better lack of a word, the people to join the Suicide Squad. And Alf, who plays it in the new one? I forgot her name. She's great at it. She shows up often in a lot of the DC shows. So like Flash, Supergirl, Arrow. She shows up there because some of those same characters also obviously cross over. It's a DC universe. And she's actually a pretty cool character. But anyway, about the trailer itself, same thing. It looks beautiful. I kind of wonder if it's going to tie into like some Injustice stuff, because that's kind of the premise of Injustice is right that Superman goes rogue, and so there's this faction with him, and Batman's on the opposite side, and so maybe that's where that's coming in. Maybe not. I mean, I could totally be coming out of nowhere. It could be a mind control thing for all we know. But also, I think just going to be, it seems, especially if it's like Arkham, but just with new universe, new characters, man, it's just going to be fun. Like just genuine enjoying like cool vehicles, cool scenes, cool powers. Like I'm really excited to see some of the stuff that DC is finally doing in the gaming universe. I think it's going to be super dope.
Okay, so exactly. Let's dive right into that. Let's jump to the next DC universe thing. Gotham Knights official Court of Owls story trailer was released October 16th. Batman, Jim Gordon, they thought they had a handle on Gotham City, but there are hidden forces at play that no one talks about. It is up to the Gotham Knights, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin to uncover the secrets of the city's past before it is too late. But beware, the Court of Owls is always watching, always listening. Guys, I was not, too blown away at this when I first saw it, but then I saw this trailer and I was like, I'm all aboard.
Okay.
This game might
You
be
mean
one
you
where,
weren't blown away when you like way back when?
yeah, like when it was first,
okay.
and it was very, I don't know, they didn't show too much. I like the idea of playing as the other superheroes, but
Yeah.
I am all in now because I always enjoyed playing as those other guys, and especially I think you finally got to an Arkham Knight, if I'm remembering correctly.
Arkham City, you got to be Catwoman, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that was like a DLC or something. So I'm all aboard. I have been craving to play Arkham Asylum. I told the guys I almost bought it for $5. Like I've been craving that Batman game. I don't know anything about Court of Owls. I think Jose knows about it.
So good.
From Chance,
I
actually.
know.
Okay.
I want to spoil all of it.
No, don't. Please don't. I know nothing about it, and I don't know. I mean, I know Nightwing's one of there are multiple Robins, right? Like one is his own, and then Nightwing's a different one, and then wasn't.
And
Red Hood.
Yeah, Red
Is
Hood.
Is Red Hood the one who was bad in
that-
Arkham Knight, and then he becomes
So,
good? Apparently,
You need to watch Titans.
Yeah, Titans.
Daniel. You need to.
I
It's
have
good.
no idea
really,
what that is.
really well done. So Titans has. Well, again, I don't want to spoil much.
Don't spoil, please don't.
Go watch Titans. You need to
Okay.
go watch Titans.
Again, time, you guys. But I just want to quickly say this might be a game that I will play full price on release.
I think
and
so.
I
I think it'll be worth every penny, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, without spoiling it, The Court of Owls story, and I'm credit to BubbleBoy on this one. So he read the graphic novel first, and he was like, "You really should pick it up." And I got it on sale for like I think like $8 one day on my iPad and read through it. I burned through it in one night, and it's a legit like 250 page comic because it was a series of comics. It is so good, dude, and I am so pumped to play this game.
Yeah, I'm going back and rereading it. It just makes sense for Gotham too, and the other thing that I like, it hit me, Jose, when in our chat that I was like, man, it's crazy to me that they haven't used them more in like the live action stuff, and I was like, oh gosh, that was only 10 years ago that those came out, that because it released with the New 52 is when those came out, so it like I guess they could have done it instead of Bane, but past that, like they haven't had much used to. So I think this is a perfect place to throw them in, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Yeah, this is from Warner Brothers Montreal, and I didn't know that. And then Rocksteady is making the Suicide Squad. Yeah, I'm way more pumped for this. I'm kind of like a wait and see with Suicide Squad. This, I just been craving that Batman, you guys, and I think it's so cool.
Oh,
to play
for
as the
sure.
other
So is
characters.
Grayson.
The only one, yeah, exactly. The only one I'm like, I don't know about Batwoman or Batgirl. I don't know about her costume. That one, that's the only one that looks a little out of place to me. Whenever
The purple
I watch
and yellow.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's what it is. That's her costume.
Do you know that background also, Dan? Like who
yeah, that's
Batgirl is?
Gordon's daughter, right?
Yeah, but did you ever see like The Killing Joke? Did you ever read that comic?
Yeah, and she didn't she get like paralyzed or something like that? Was that a different one?
Yeah, because she also helped you in some of the other games and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, she's the Oracle. Yeah,
Oracle.
right. Is that the same one?
Yeah,
or is this a different one?
And they never. I'm not.
We're not. So I'm not going to see that, or we're going to see that, or maybe I don't know.
I don't think that'll be in this game.
Okay, so any other reactions? Chance, I kind of cut you off, or I don't know. Do you want to add anything to this? You seem very excited for this one.
And I thought,
are you wait? Are you wearing a shirt that says Gotham City on it? I thought it used
Hall of Justice.
Okay.
My comic book store. This is the comic book store in Parker. I loved the way that they had Penguin explain it. That was really cool too.
Yeah.
And well done. No, I'm just excited. And seriously, Dan, I'll send you a link for what. You don't do comics though, do you?
I know. Again, time. It's like the only time I spend is either watching Vanderpump Rules
with
Valley or Bravo and playing video games. Oh, thanks for that one, Chance. Jose, do you?
I hit mute.
It's too late. Jose, do you have any anything else to say as far as Gotham Knights is concerned?
No, just that it looks super fun, super great. My only kind of tiny fear, I hope it's not too big, because with Gotham you could go real big, especially with 4 characters, and the Court of Owls, the way that it works.
Oh, I remember driving around the Batmobile. Oh my god,
it opens a lot of doors. So I hope that they were able to hit that sweet spot of like big enough that I feel really engrossed. I want to find stuff. I'll seek stuff out, but it's not so big that I'm like on my 100th hour of the game and I'm only like 60% of the way. That's what I'm trying to balance.
Completely agree. Let's go a little different here. Let's close out just in general your reactions to the Flash trailer, the Batman trailer. I think the Batman is looking phenomenal. Anyone who's going to hate on Robert Pattinson is a fool. He's actually a good actor. No offense to like Ben Affleck or George Clooney or any other Batman.
Well, yeah, I mean, Twilight series was one of the greatest film series ever
besides
made.
his work in Twilight. Yes. I think the Riddler it looks super cool. The cinematography and the Flash with the Michael Keaton Batman. I don't know what's going on. DC just seems to be like, we're not going to do a cinematic universe. You can just do whatever you want.
But can we talk about the Batmobile?
You don't like it?
And I
don't hate the Batmobile.
I guess here's what I guess
I don't
I'll say.
dislike it or
nothing
like
is ever going to be as cool as the Tumbler. So they were probably
the first Batmobile. Where the Flash is taking it off.
Okay, next episode, top 5 Batmobiles, right there for all of us. That's what we need to do.
Actually, that's what I did want to talk. I think that's what I originally wanted to have.
Tumbler.
Tumbler to me seems like cheap. It's like I don't know.
Oh my god.
Okay, I actually don't think the Tumbler is the best Batmobile. Anyway, Your reaction, Jose, mute BubbleBoy. Jose, tell me your reaction to Flash and the Batman. What were you thinking for the films?
So seriously, I think the Batman looks really cool. And here's the thing. Like, I know people love to hate on Twilight. I legitimately read the first Twilight book. It's real good. I'm not going to lie. It's a good book. And I didn't even see the movies, to be fair. But no, I know people hated on him because of that.
Wait. I got to interrupt there. Jose read the book. I've seen all the movies because I dated somebody who's obsessed. So I have nothing to say. Go ahead, Jose.
I'm looking forward to it, dude. I like Batman stories, dude. Who doesn't? And honestly, I love Christian Bale. He was great. I love George Clooney. He was dope too. I didn't hate Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton. Like, I just like Batman. So give me more Batman. I can't complain about that. I love that they're doing more than one villain. I love that, I think they're going to do some cool stuff. We haven't seen Penguin since Batman Returns really in any of the movies, so I'm excited for that. And I also love the Riddler, right? Even though I love Jim Carrey and his comicness, I would love a serious Riddler, right? That's like really like good at puzzles and stuff. So I'm excited for that for sure. And I didn't hate the Batmobile. I actually think it's kind of a cool idea. The Flash I'm really excited about because I think what they're going to do, and it's very smart, is they're using this as a reset point. So the story of the Flash they're focusing on is called Flashpoint, and it's basically an issue where Flash runs so fast that he kind of resets the course of human history, and that could be really great for DC because they just have not been able to keep up with like Marvel in their stories, and this gives them a good reset point. So I'm excited for that. And then I know we didn't mention it, but like
can I ask you, are they going to weave Watchmen into it with that?
They could. That's a pretty big stretch though. I think it's more of a chance.
Didn't the button come from Flashpoint too?
The button?
Yeah.
What button?
Anyway,
the smiley face. I don't know. But here's the other part I would say. So if you like, I was really down on Flash, honestly, most of my life. I thought he was kind of a stupid hero. Watching the Flash show on CW or whatever it is an awesome show, and it like really got me into the universe. I really enjoy that show. I need to finish the 3rd season and keep going. But other things, I'm really excited for Black Adam. I don't know anything about Black Adam. I don't know anything about the story. I don't even know if he's the good guy or the bad guy, but the little tiny snippet they showed looked freaking sweet, and it made me super excited. I just think DC, I'm really glad to see them not down on themselves from what's happened, and they're really like, nope, we're going to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
We're getting AAA people. We're making AAA stories. I'm really excited for all that.
I completely agree. And I don't think they need a universe like Marvel. Like, Marvel can do their own thing, and I don't think, no offense, DC can do that because Batman just seems to be his own universe. Well, they might as well just do that. Like, let Batman be its own thing. And then if they can somehow tie something in together with the Flash, I feel like that could be really cool. BubbleBoy, tell me what is your problem with the new Batmobile? Just because it's not the Tumbler, or what is, because it looks
probably, yeah, because it's not the Tumbler. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's room for many awesome gadgets and stuff on it. I don't know.
But
it's not the
really,
Tumbler. You're right. I'm just being a hater.
How important, let's be real, is the Batmobile in the grand scheme of
the
things?
Tumbler was a massive part of the Dark Knight.
It's an important part, dude. It's iconic in every Batman. Every Batman has their own Batmobile. That's how important they are.
Drives around. Like,
what I'll also say though is
do we enjoy Batman for the driving sequences or everything else? Really,
in some of them, yeah. And I'll also say what's cool is all that one still is heads and tails above like 90% of the comics. Some of the comics have horrific Batmobiles, like just awful.
Speaking of Batmobiles,
but I do have to. Okay, sorry, never mind. Go ahead.
Are you gonna spoil something?
Speaking of Batmobiles,
I was just gonna say the 90s cartoon one was kind of cool too. That long like limousine one,
yeah.
Iconic. Go ahead, Chance. Ask him.
So what book? God, it was like a book about sex stuff. 50 Shades of Grey, right? When that became a movie, and there was this like, what was the guy's name? Not my
Gray?
Mr. Gray.
Mr. Gray. Christian Grey, right?
Yeah, not my Christian. That's what it was. So that's how I'm kind of feeling about the Flash. Not my Barry Allen, because I want the Barry Allen from the WB universe.
I do like him. He's my favorite one, but I like Ezra Miller too. I think Ezra's
like Ezra
right.
too. I thought actually he was the only one I kind of liked in Justice League.
Yeah, but you haven't seen the CW one. The CW one is a real good dude. I really like it.
That's not my president.
That's my Barry Allen.
Let's move on. I did write down, and there were details. Shout out to Jez Corden from Windows Central. He briefly talked about some of the details he had seen, Avowed, and he's very excited for it. But do we really need to talk about it? Like, since we didn't really get to see anything, I'm already excited for Avowed. Do you guys want to talk about this at all? I kind of want to let's just skip it. I'm excited, but until we see something, let's wait on that. Let's move into the real news now, boys. Well, actually, the Gotham Knights is really cool, and I'm super pumped about that. Let's celebrate 20 years of playing together. We had just missed this when we recorded last week. They announced the special 20-year anniversary, the special edition Xbox wireless controller paired with the special edition Xbox stereo headset. Dang it, Jose, if we had just waited, I'm sure you would have gotten that headset, or would you not have gotten it? I want to know. Oh my, breaking news here, boys. BubbleBoy has the sickest hat I think I've ever seen him wear. If you're listening audio, you need to go to the video right now. He has actually, BubbleBoy, tell us what you got there, and let's talk about this controller and the headset.
I cannot believe I forgot to put this on. This is my 20th anniversary Halo hat.
Dude, that hat is sick.
It's the only trucker hat I've ever considered and actually bought. I don't typically like these, but I was like, I don't really care what else it looks like. I love the black and white, the simple black and white. This logo is fantastic.
Dude.
I also picked up some other cool merch.
Why aren't you wearing the other merch?
Oh, well, the ones that... No, it has. It's not clothes. So I got and it's a big sticker. It's like this big, the Halo Master Chief helmet Pride logo, and it's like a tapestry of the Dia de Muerte skull that's made into an Xbox theme.
I have to quickly interrupt
my
here.
office.
Did you not pick up the short sleeve hoodie 20th edition? Because I'm pretty sure I thought you were the only one
he's
that
got to
ordered
put that on special order. I love the trucker hat as well. I hate trucker hats too. I'm not a big fan. I don't even wear that many hats anymore. That hat is sick. It looks so good, BubbleBoy. Props. I wish they made a shirt like that. They do, but it's not like that. And I have to interrupt here, guys. Special story I forgot to share when I went on that trip to the wedding, and I told the boys here. I also was wearing my Xbox Pride shirt, the one with the Xbox, I guess it's called the Nexus logo. I didn't know that, or the Nexus button, but the Xbox logo with the X, and it has the different Pride flags and everything. And the flight attendant, as I was walking in, was like, "Oh, I love your shirt." She's like, "I love how it has all the different flags. That's awesome." I just said thank you, but in my mind, I was like, I should tell her about I should be like, "Hey,
You should
did you
listen
actually
to this podcast.
Yeah, no, that's what Jose and BubbleBoy told me to do. But I wanted to be like, I hate to break it to you, but this is actually an Xbox symbol. Did you notice that? And I also host an Xbox podcast. I should have. I blew it. But again, I spared my wife of the embarrassment of telling her. But I did want to tell her, hey, I'm all about the pride flags and everything too. But more importantly, did you notice the Xbox logo that's right here? She probably had no idea. So I do think the controller looks sweet. If I had unlimited money, I would totally get this. Jose, what do you think of the controller design? Do you think that the limited edition should be like their standard controller, or are you fine with the standard black one? And what about the headset?
I think they're really nice. I am always been a big fan when you do editions like this of stuff that's really subtle. I mean, noticeable enough that you like if someone saw it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," but not just garish. I mean, I like there are times for like big crazy designs. We talked about that some of the other controllers. I think this is really tasteful and well done, but again, noticeable. I like the grip on the back is like a fluorescent green. I think that's
I was
really
going to
cool.
say the grips look really good.
And actually looking through that article, they actually showed some of the t-shirts where it's like a gray shirt with like the Nexus logo and then the line and it's black.
Yeah,
I think those look real clean. I like those a lot. So I think they're really well done. I mean, again, here's the problem with controllers is like, as much as I love the different design ones, I don't need lots of controllers. Like I'd have the one that I love and I love that controller. I would almost wish they would make like stickers of it. I would much rather have a bunch of different stickers of different designs than of just the actual controllers. But here's what I would say, because to your question of would I buy it, if I was still in the market for my Xbox headset, sure, why would I not pick this up? Cool, like have the limited edition one. But the limited edition thing is kind of weird because what are you going to resell it? You're going to hold on to it for 20 years when this is no longer a machine and try to sell it then? Maybe, and maybe it would be worth a lot of money. But outside of that, it's not one of those things I'd buy unless I was in the market for it. But again, I do applaud their designs. I think they're doing some really, really cool stuff with their merch, and I hope they just continue. The only thing I want them to make that Hispanic Heritage shirt. Yeah. I would buy that in a heartbeat. They don't make it. I've looked everywhere, but I think that's such a cool logo.
Tweeted them. Be like, hey,
I did
that represent. Oh, good. That gray shirt, Jose. Instantly, I was like, I need to buy that. But I didn't tell you guys this. My Xbox, the 21, which is also cool with the 2 and the 0 and the Xbox logo, the green one on the black. The logo's already cracking and like falling apart. And I believe it's my fault too, because it specifically says in the tiniest font ever, you guys, do not put this in the dryer. Why would you sell this expensive shirt that you can't put in the dryer? Like, I don't want to have to hang up my shirts. Like, come on, Xbox. Like, and that's the only thing where I'm like, oh, do I want to spend $30 on a t-shirt again only for that to happen? Or I'm going to forget to take it out of the dryer because it's the same. I can tell it's the same Meta Threads, I think, is the one who makes this. So, BubbleBoy, any final thoughts on any of this merch? What do you guys think of the translucent? Are you a fan of that or not a fan in general?
It makes it look a little cheaper to me. But again, like Chapo said, I already have my controller. The only one I was going to ever buy was the one they came out with, that Halo one. And I was like, well, crap, here's my money. So I shouldn't be needing one again for a few decades.
Okay, and now, boys, let's close with the absolute biggest news, especially for Chapo Bear. And oh my gosh, is this coming up? It's coming up. The Xbox Series X mini fridge available to pre-order October 19th. I believe this is exclusive to Target and Target.com. Boys, will you be buying this fridge? The answer is yes. I'm going to buy it.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. I don't even need a mini fridge. I probably will never plug it in. I should use it for something for my monsters, apparently, which is getting me through the show right now. It will just be a prop right there. So I don't have to put my Xbox up there every time and just put the Xbox. Let's, Chipotle Bear, I know this is all you. You need a tweet, by the way, once you get your mini fridge to be like, hey guys, I already did this.
In my other mini fridge?
Yes,
and take a picture?
Or something. You need to figure out something. Go ahead.
No, I am absolutely going to buy it. Do I need it? I do not need it. But you know what? Here's what I've been saying. My wife, my parents have been like, Christmas is coming up. There's going to be shipping delays. What's a good idea for Christmas? I'm going to be like, I'm going to buy this fridge, and then you're just going to give me this fridge. That's all I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm so hyped that they're doing this. I just think it's awesome. I love that it was like a community-based thing. I love that it's kind of like we talked about, their marketing has just been so on point with making things like silly and fun, but also like good. And so I'm happy to contribute to that. I will for sure be scheduling time on Tuesday morning amongst all my appointments to get that pre-order in. And we have a Target Red card, so hopefully 5% off bonus, which would be super rad.
Did it say like a specific time, or does it just say that day at some point it's going to go live?
I don't know. I got to do some research, but I will be on it like a white on rice on a paper plate and a glass of milk in a snowstorm.
BubbleBoy, will you be getting the Xbox Series X fridge?
Oh, totally. And it's only $100, which, like, I know that sounds, I'm like, oh, only 100. But, like, that's not much for a mini fridge, all things considered. So, heck
for the record, I think
it might come.
I think it's not a full size mini fridge. I think it holds like 6 cans, just for the record. But I still think it's worth it. I'm just saying.
And I'll be either taking it to school or putting it in our basement. So, I haven't officially gotten the green light to do it yet, but it'll happen.
Yeah,
it'll come.
You can just give her some of that GameStop credit to Ashley instead. Like, here, you can buy something at GameStop. I'm going to take some Target money.
Get her a shirt for Christmas.
That is it for the Xbox news. There is a tease about something tomorrow from like Xbox Game Studios, but we'll be able to cover that next week. Speaking of next week, I wanted to share this. We are going to have a special guest for our 25th episode. And I can't tell you who it is, but it's going to blow your mind.
I'm so pumped, dude.
Actually, I'll just let you know now. It's our good friend Jay Bizzle. Jay Bizzle is going to join us for the
I love me
25th.
some Jay Bizzle.
Hey,
We didn't
no way.
nobody responded to my DM, so sorry, you're stuck with Jay Biz. Jay Biz, we love you. You are going to
No
celebrate
way.
our halfway
Heck
through
yeah.
the year. He is going to be our 25th episode anniversary
that's
celebration. So shout out to Jay
Yeah.
Bizzle. A non-shout out to Snellvod. Snellvod, I drove past In and Out today, and I didn't go because I know you're obsessed with it. And I specifically am like, I'm not going to get In and Out because you love it so much. So another non-shout out to Snellvod.
You guys have got to stop. I'm not playing Halo with you if you continue to act.
He
like
knows
I'll
I'm
face
messing
it.
with
I'll
him.
still play with him.
Yeah, thank you.
One more quick thing, since
Okay.
you mentioned it, and I haven't even shown to my two co-hosts yet, but there are some preliminary XRT merch in the works.
Merch?
And, when they
Oh
come
my gosh.
after the co-hosts, Jay Biz will be the first one to get them as well because he is definitely our number one.
Yeah,
true
number
fan.
one fan.
I'm sure our listenership in North Carolina is up 1,000% because of him. So
Are
shout out to
they,
Jay Biz.
are they themed boxers?
They are not, but I'm really proud of at least one of the logos. Like really, like I think it's
Nice.
totally going to come out of left field, and if or whoever
Oh,
gets the
no.
reference is in like a champion.
When are we going to?
Are we going to do this live on the show?
We could do it
Jay
live on the
Bizzle's
show, maybe
here?
for the 25th. I can see if I can get the other two done. I have three ideas that I want to do, and then we'll talk about what we actually make. So I'll try to get them for next week.
Yeah, maybe we should check them out beforehand so we don't get sued. Let's close out the show. I want to do, this is going to be the good old days, Halloween movies part 2. Just very quickly, very briefly. I unfortunately have not been able to watch any. I thought about watching Nightmare on Elm Street the other night when I was here alone with the kids, but I started to freak myself out. So I'm going to wait till Allie's here. I've not watched any spooky Halloween movies, but fortunately for all of us, BubbleBoy N7 has been putting in some serious work. He has watched a bunch of movies. BubbleBoy, this is your segment to give us some, just your overall kind of reactions to some of those spooky movies that Chipotle Bear recommended and which ones you would recommend and whatnot. So go ahead. This is all you.
And so I just felt like a terrible friend, right? I was like, how have I never seen any of these, right? And they're all up there. And I had all these different ideas for how I could start watching them. And I was like, well, I should look for this. I should look for that. And then I was like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to start. And so I started with the one that Chapo said was his favorite, which was the original Friday the 13th. One thing that I did keep track of that I think is really interesting was the production cost, and I added in the inflation, so I got online and did some inflation tool. Friday the 13th, only with inflation back in 1980 when it was made, only cost $1.8 million to make, which is pretty low standards when it comes to movies. And back then, I don't remember what it was, but back then it was even less. Some of the things that I loved about it, I thought it had great sound, like the right, like that is super cool and super scary. I thought it was really well written, and the twist I had no idea was coming. You've seen it, right, Dan?
Sorry, what
Daniel?
are we talking about? Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th.
The first one, yeah. I'm like,
Okay, so the fact that it's Jason's mom
Yeah,
the whole
didn't see
time,
that.
I was just like,
That's the one with the
oh my
boat,
gosh, it's
too.
really good, and it makes sense, right? Well, yeah, and then that jump scare at the boat, I do not
Yeah,
jump scare
that
easily.
got me too.
The very end when he comes
Allie,
out of the boat, ooh,
it was very
boy.
hard.
And he looked
Messed
really
up.
scary too, because you only see him for a little bit, right? And I think that helps. I think if it was like zoomed in and you got to see him for a long time, it probably would have taken away, and because they didn't have all the great special effects. But man, I thought just really well done, and I loved that her motivation was really realistic. Sometimes some of the horror movies that are supernatural kind of lose me a little bit, even though they can be 10 times as scary. But when you think about it in terms of real world stuff, I was just like, man, that is great. So that's where I started. Unfortunately, in my not so humble opinion, it all went downhill from there. I was not impressed. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, which came out 4 years later.
Wait, real quick. Did you stop at Friday the 13th part 4? Is that the last one you watched?
I did.
And that's where all I need to see.
Yeah, and
Because I have like that 8 movie pack on Blu-ray.
so Yeah, and I'll tell you how I went through and did this because I went to Nightmare on Elm Street. I wanted to do all the originals or the big three originals. So when it comes to slasher movies, and like to me, these aren't even scary movies. Like they definitely fit in horror, but I think they're their own category of slasher films. So Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. Watch Nightmare on Elm Street next, which with inflation cost $4.7 million. So about a little more, 2.5 times as much as Friday the 13th, and I didn't think it was as good. And it's 4 years later. That's a pretty long time. That it did have a scary premise, right? Like don't go to sleep. It did have the best.
Wait!
Scene
No
of all
spoilers.
these movies
I haven't
that
seen
I've
this.
watched.
So you can't spoil it.
So I won't tell you what happens, but it did have the best murder scene. I'm sure Jose can think of which one I'm talking about. And then his glove, right, with the knives on it, that's so iconic that I thought that was cool and worth mentioning. And then Halloween, which actually came out 2 years before Friday the 13th in 1978. This one had a huge production budget, went all the way up to $8.979 million with inflation that one costs. Again, I love the theme song. That theme song is iconic, and it's just makes you scared just listening to it. When Michael sits up at the end after you thought that she maybe killed him in the closet, that was super cool and kind of scary. The way at the end when Lori goes through and she sees all her dead friends, that was kind of cool. But past that, I was like, this is really poorly done. Like the acting is not very good. I was that's when you guys were talking about Alan Wake and like, oh, it's really old and it shows. I'm like, I don't want to just hate on it because it's old, but they spent a lot of money on these movies too. It's not like in 84, that wasn't that the same year Top Gun came out, or was Top Gun 85? Like, I'm like, man, you can get the greatest acting of all time and the greatest film of all time made in the same year. So it's not like I'm just hating on it because it's old. So I watched the 3 of those, and then I was like, okay, I'm not obviously going to be able to watch 48 movies here. So I'm just going to stick with Friday the 13th and get through those. And I had been prefaced with Jose telling me that number 2, that 3 was the worst, right? I'll start there. I think 3 might have been the worst movie ever made, that I've ever seen. It was so bad. The only thing that was redeemable about it is that apparently, and I didn't know this, Super Troopers ripped off a scene from there where they're like, hide the evidence, man, and they're eating all the drugs because the police officer's behind them. That's it. Past that movie was terrible, other than you get Jason's hockey mask. Right? Like that's when Jason's hockey mask becomes a thing. But that motorcycle gang, the worst acting I've ever seen. The casting was terrible for it. The fat girl that eats that banana at the beginning was awful. Just didn't like it. And,
I don't even know if this doesn't even sound familiar to me, and I feel like I watched it. Like I don't, maybe did I just erase it from my mind right away?
Probably, man.
I thought I got to 3.
It's just really bad. And Jose,
Don't spoil
I'm sorry.
4.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
spoil
I'm
4.
sorry. Yeah. Well, okay. 4 might have been worse, and I don't think it was. Like, it wasn't. It ultimately wasn't.
Oh,
you need to go watch 4, Daniel. And then, because then we'll do a spoiler cast and we'll talk about it because I know Jose liked it.
Okay.
And I trust him and I want to know why.
Oh,
what's the kid's name? Yeah, go ahead.
Corey Feldman is the kid.
Corey Feldman. Why is he cool?
Because he's like a really famous 80s actor. He's in a ton of stuff. I mean, he's in like...
No, I know. And like Goonies
Yeah.
and Lost Boys, right? I get it. But like...
So I should have clarified, and I realized that as we were texting about this week and stuff, I felt a little bit bad. When I say that Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise, it is not because that the old ones are so scary or so good that it's just incredible, especially during their time. They are horrific. Like, I mean, like you said it right on the head. They're really bad by modern standards. Like the death scenes are so clearly pretty, by modern standards, terrible makeup and gags and stuff like that. But the reason that I love them is not because I think they're so great like that. one because of almost like the spiritual like cult classicness of it, right? That like as a kid, I really thought these movies were scary, right? And to a little kid, they would be very scary, right? Because they don't live in that world with like mass murders and stuff. But you think about the idea that these movies were literally made 40 years ago. That's older than like all of us, man. That what they were able to do back then, and that they were really the foundation for a lot of our modern horror. Like the idea that there's like this stalker who's basically immortal around this like camp, like is a pretty cool idea. I mean, in terms of like horror stuff, and like Michael Myers, like same thing, very iconic. I really like the original Halloween for that same reason, though of course it's not by modern standards, it's terrible. And I will say I really liked all the reboots. I don't know if you ever got to watch those yet, but like they are actually scary, I think. And like really well done, and they borrow enough of the original story and like mythology to make them obviously spiritual successors and reboots, but also go their own way and do their own cool stuff. And so I really liked those as well. But anyway, I totally agree with you. Like you're not hurting my feelings by saying that they're bad movies. I know that they're really bad movies. I never thought that they were good for that. I enjoy watching them because for something that scared me so bad as a child, I've learned to appreciate them. And for someone who loves horror stuff, I really appreciate what they've done for the genre over time. And the one thing I will give them, you have to also agree with me, it was at least very creative the way that Jason kills people, because he doesn't kill the same way in any of 8 movies. That's pretty incredible because his kill count is very high. It's like 157 or something like that. So anyway, I just wanted to add that, but I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and I was taking notes on all those, and some of them are so well done, and then others are so bad. There's 1 and 2 where at first I was like, oh, it's slow motion, and then I'm like, no, it's not, because the girl is moving, but he's just like, huh, and she's just like 10 feet away, like, ah. I'm like, run, bitch! Like, get out of
the
there.
wheelchair scene where you can clearly tell it's like a mannequin. It's just,
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yes. Oh, that one was so bad. But so, and because here's what I will say, that in my all-time favorite comedian and podcast host, Kyle Kinane, he had done some horror movie stuff last week, and he was talking about how he's like, I saw this, I forget what movie he was talking about. He's like, I saw how it's supposed to be seen though, with a bunch of people on a Friday night in the theater. Some of them were a little liquored up, and you cheer when things happen and you laugh when other things happen. And so if they ever release these, like say next weekend, and we all went and watched it in the theater, I would in a heartbeat go and see them. Am I going to watch it again on my own? Probably not. But that's what I do for what they were. Heck yeah, man. And again, that first one, it's great. I actually really enjoyed it. So hold on, because what it inspired me to do was I was like, well, what's the equivalent nowadays, right, of those slasher flicks? And I thought of a few. I thought of Saw, and I thought of Final Destination, and Scream, right? And they're redoing.
Did you guys see the new Scream trailer?
Of Scream.
looks real good. Number 5 looks cool.
I did. Yeah, I'm excited. And so my next plan, I'm watching all the Saws over, and I had seen up through 4, and I had just finished watching 4 last night. I'm gonna watch 5 tonight. Here's what I want to say though, which is really crazy about them. That the Saw movies, adjusted for inflation, only cost like $1 million to make that first one. Man, they're good. Yeah. They're really, really well done, and they get cheesier, just like the Jason movies, the Friday the 13th. They get a little cheesier, but they also continue with some really
Saw's just
good
like
writing.
Messed up. It's a different kind of
and
horror.
that's where it's like, it's not scary.
It's
it's that slasher flick, right? Like I think it fits right into that slasher.
And speaking of
genre.
budget,
so
go ahead, Jan. Sorry, I was just gonna say that like Halloween or scary movies, those have big investment returns. Like the very small amount to
for sure.
always kill it at the box office. People love to go see horror movies. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. So I think what I hopefully can do next time is kind of rank all the Saw movies, and then as well as the reboots, because I am gonna watch the Jason, Halloween, and Friday the 13th reboots too.
Yeah, and I'm excited.
I don't know. I've just really loved doing this. Like, it's just a cool thing to do during Halloween season.
Yeah, they for those of you that have, I think it's Hulu. I can't remember. They just released, I think
Peacock has Tons.
has
that
the new Halloween. Though. They just
that's
released the new
that's
Halloween
on Paramount.
Kills.
Yes.
Paramount. It's
Peacock.
Paramount. I thought it was
Peacock
Paramount.
that has it. I want to watch it too. I really like the
Peacock.
new ones that they did. So I'm excited.
I'm positive it's Peacock. There's a chance it's also on
Okay.
Paramount, but it's definitely Peacock.
Which might make sense.
Because that's where I've been watching all the Saw movies, and that's all the commercials are for it.
Okay. So
So, and then last thing for Halloween, speaking of which, because DWALLY earlier, you were like, what the heck are you talking about? Visage?
You
Don't
make
say
me
that word too
really
fast.
uncomfortable when you call it a visage.
Yeah. Honey. Sorry. I'm not going to make that joke. I'll just tell you one little tagline from Game Informer. For fans of horror games, Visage is a nightmare that you can't miss. It's the scariest game I've ever played. I've seen that a few times. I read this PC horror games article, and like 10 different people of the 12 all had it as their number one scary PC game. So, and it was a free Game
it's on
Pass,
Game
like
Pass. Okay.
last week.
Very
So.
nice. So we'll I can't wait to hear a review on that as well. Maybe you should stream that on your Twitch channel there.
I want to know, have you guys watched all the Saw movies?
I've seen a lot of them, but I can't remember. You know, it kind of just blends together.
I couldn't tell you which ones are which. I think I've seen all except for Jigsaw.
Yeah,
and
I
then
haven't seen those, yeah.
I think the last one. And honestly, like part of it is like I
We've
love
seen
horror.
this,
I don't love
right?
just the gore though. Like I mean I can take the gore, but just it got to a certain point where I was like not enjoying that piece of it.
I wrote that down about 4 because the first 3, yeah, they were gory and creepy, but it wasn't. This is gonna sound weird. It wasn't overdone. 4 was too much. I was like, come on, no, that's enough. Stop. And hopefully they go away from that, but I don't remember. Sounds like maybe they don't.
All right. Well, speaking of gore, perfect transition, boys. What has been the best food you had this week? Let's close off the show like we always do. I'm gonna go first here, boys, because mine's kind of boring. I can't even remember, to be honest, because as we know, I was on daddy daycare. I honestly barely remember what I've been eating. I will say this: I did text the boys about this. Went back to McDonald's, got their spicy chicken sandwich, and also got a quarter pounder with cheese with bacon. Guys, I think that's their best hamburger, hands down. It's better than the Whopper. I love the Whopper, but it's as far as like a real, hamburgers concerned, cheeseburger, got to go with the quarter pounder with cheese. It doesn't need the bacon, by the way.
Well, part of the problem is the Whopper is at Burger King.
Oh, sorry. I meant Big Mac. Sorry, you know what I meant. And then Big Mac, too much bread. Get rid of that middle bread. It doesn't need it. Then I tried their spicy chicken sandwich. Like I said, not that good. And then this reminded me of the Burger King one, which I also retried. Not that good. I am so mad. BubbleBoy was right. I'm amending my list. The spicy McChicken sandwich needs to be on that top 5 chicken sandwich list. The value, it's consistently good. Good spice factor. Mix it in with that mayo and lettuce. So simple. Just delicious. So shout out to McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese. Also spicy McChicken. That's all you need to get. And some fries. And maybe a vanilla milkshake as well. Or no, Oreo McFlurry. Who am I kidding? Who would like to go next with the best food you had this week?
I'll go next. We'll let BubbleBoy round it out. So Dan's going to be real proud of me on this one. On Friday night, we were trying to figure out where to go eat before I had to go to the football game for homecoming. And my amazing wife said, let's go to Virgilio's. And I was like, let's go to Virgilio's. And so we went there, and I had a good old bacon and pepperoni pizza. Oh, my God. I had about 6 garlic knots. Dude, it's so good, dude. If you are ever in Southwest Denver, like C470 and Kipling, go stop by Virgilio's. It is worth your time. And you know what? For even during COVID and stuff, it was popping at Friday at like 4:30.
Dude.
They even had a sign that said, if you have parties of over 6, there's no guarantee
Virgilio's,
unless
man.
you have an appointment. It's so good,
Killing
dude.
it.
So good.
But you didn't get any pasta? You got to do like me. You get the pasta and the personal pizza. You
I'm
got
not
to
a
get
big
both.
pasta dude.
And
here's
the
other
garlic
problem.
nuts?
On a personal level, I don't do real well with any cream-based sauces. It is not sitting real good. And if I have to go to a football game for 3 hours,
Not good.
not
Ripping
good.
ass.
JS.
All right.
I was gonna say, did you make it to the game after?
Well, for
all
the
that?
pizza, I did
That's
two
awesome.
of the. I popped two of the old lactates. They got me through the game, which was good. But
Yeah.
it would have been a real dangerous game to be playing with some.
No, but
pasta.
you're outside, you walk around, you just
be
crop
crop dusted
dust
the whole field.
You just
Damn
walk,
barking spiders
and then you'd
out
be
there.
like, you're like, oh man, who just crop dusted over there? You just blame it on someone else. No one's gonna think it's you, like these dang
The
kids.
announcer's like, it seems the entire Bear Creek sideline is passed out and fallen over. in a
Speaking of
fit
crop dusting,
vomiting.
the other day I farted, and Grayson's like, Dad, that's disgusting. You just farted on me. I was like, oh man, he knew it was me. I was like, no, that was the dog. He's like, oh, Riley.
You blame it on the girls.
Blamed it on Riley. He never knew. I was like, that was Riley. That was Riley. He knew, guys.
Well, and his face is in the worst possible spot,
Right,
too.
right
Right,
up against my
they're
ass,
at that
yeah.
height where.
Go ahead, BubbleBoy. Speaking of ass, what was the best food you had this week?
Ashley and I went out for our 10-year, not our wedding anniversary, but 10 years of since the day we met, which was
Wait,
exciting.
really quick.
We're halfway to Xbox.
What date was that? Because did you see I met Allie 5 years ago to the date? It was ours is the
Yeah, so it
was on Thursday.
on the
That's why we couldn't
13th,
record.
But yeah, but we went on Thursday.
Is it the
'cause we
same
were just
day as
like,
us? That's scary.
13th.
I think
October
it is.
13th. But yeah, we went on Thursday though, which was the 14th. So we went to a place called Sierra, which I'm sure nobody's ever heard of. It's over here by Skyridge Hospital. Fairly fancy. I don't know. I hate to call it fancy, but definitely expensive and kind of fancy. And we got mini chili rellenos and a bunch of other stuff. Mini
Yeah,
chili
Jose, can
rellenos
you give us the
took cake.
official pronunciation of that?
Chili rellenos.
Was I saying it wrong?
Oh, you were saying it with that gringo accent, but go ahead.
Chili rellenos.
Dang quesadilla.
I was like, "Hey, miss, can we get some more tortillas over here?" So that was it, and we got a bunch of other really expensive stuff that none of it was even close to as good as the mini chili rellenos.
Rellenos. Just like, what was that word? Yijro.
You about to throw up? Is that what's going on?
Which is
I know, you
Greek,
keep telling
so
me.
yeah.
I know.
you-
Chance, that is very bizarre. Yes, I met Allie October 13th as well. Very crazy. So we
No
have
way.
this. That's the
Wow.
first.
Were you
the
living
first
with Jose
day
at
we
the
met?
time,
No,
too?
that was the first time you met Ashley and went out. Wow.
Yes. Yep. We went to an ice. So
Small one.
we met on Plenty of Fish, which was a free dating app. And we went out to an ice cream shop there over kind of Lowry and had such a good time. We're like, well, let's go out for Mexican too. Because
Man,
there's a
you
Mexican
knew she was a
place
winner.
across
Let's
the
get some
street.
Mexican, yeah.
And we tried to go back there on Thursday, but both places are.
I'll share
That
my
sucks.
story. So, Allie and I also
Yeah.
met on a dating app. We met on Tinder, and
I don't think I knew
you didn't
that.
know that? Yeah, met my wife on Tinder.
I didn't know that either. I didn't
You
know
guys
that either.
didn't know that? We were a success
No.
story from Tinder. Heck yeah! So our first date, I was
I swiped right.
yeah, exactly. I invited her to watch the Broncos game. And we are like, where do you want to watch it? And she was just like, we can just watch it at your place. And I was like, whoa, she's already coming over? That's some balls right there. She came over,
yeah.
and I was like, the pizza is going to be ready. Can we go get it? And the Broncos had already started. And she's like, well, we'd miss the game. And I'm like, well, I can record it. And she's like, that's not the same. And I'm like, do you want me to leave you here in my apartment and I'll go get the pizza?
She's going to
Yep.
steal all of your stuff. and
I was
walk
like,
away.
okay, well, yeah, left her there at the apartment with Milo. She watched the Broncos game while I went out and got the world's best pizza from Domino's and then came back. And yeah, that's our second date. We also got ice cream. So
Is this when you lived on off of like Hampton right there?
the off Broadway.
Why did you not just have it delivered? That
Because
cheap?
I'm cheap. Yep. I'm that cheap, guys. Don't want to pay for delivery. Don't want to tip them. I'll pay my $7 for the single pizza or $5 or $10 for two or whatever. And then I'm going to drive there and pick it up and come back. Yes. Jose knows me.
Did you take one of your controllers with you? Just like you're like, well, I don't know.
No,
that
I was
well
like,
yet.
man,
So you didn't? Oh, because they didn't have elites back then. You probably just had the.
you're right.
standard.
I didn't. I only had the
Yeah.
one S at the time. So yeah, I'm sure she didn't care. But anyway,
Had it been the elite, you'd have been like,
yeah,
oh, this has to come in my
anyway.
car. I can't start my car without it. Just
this has been Xbox Record This episode 24. Another great one. Powered through. Shout out to Monster ultra zero calorie energy drink. Got me through. You can find me at DaddyDWALLY across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you have any questions, ideas, please hit us up at xboxrecordthis@gmail.com. Chipotle Bear, where can they find you on the old internet?
You can find me at Chipotle_Bear on Twitter or Chipotle Bear on Instagram. Always feel free to reach out, recommend good places to eat. And if you're into Halloween, check out our full series of family vans that we made. A lot of people have been happy with them. And hopefully maybe some teasing of our logos once we get them approved by the other co-hosts here.
Can't wait for episode 25. And BubbleBoy and 7, where can people find you?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Thank
luck.
you as always, gentlemen. See you
online.
See you online.
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at DaddyDWALLY on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoy N7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.